Hi everyone, my name is Waheed. I am the Managing Director for Consult to Manage, a leading ERP and CRM consultancy business. We deal in different ERPs, and in this video, this is one of the video of the series of Zoho Creator application development that we are doing. In this video, we will be discussing about setting up workflows of notification workflow, specifically regarding how a notification workflow or a custom workflow is done in Zoho Creator whenever a record is created, updated, or deleted. Like deleted, I mean to change or deactivate it, because in this application we won't be deleting anything. We will make sure that nothing can be deleted, so we will be managing that through the access, and this would be one of the videos moving forward as well. So in this video we will get straight on to our topic, or the content of the video. Okay, so first of all, I would like to go to the application that we developed earlier. So if you have watched my previous videos, you must have seen a similar structure where we form these different type of forms. One thing I just thought of adding here is basically the the location field, because we also want to have a location of the order. Where is it? Okay, so we have a address field, and we will say it location. So I will discuss this when we get to the reporting part, why I really did this location. Like when we define the dashboard, I will show you like why we basically did this location. Okay, so we already have a country, show. Okay, okay, we just don't want to capture geo coordinates. What you mean? Let's do that. Let's capture. Okay, now all good. Location done. So this was one thing I just wanted to change. Now we'll get straight into the workflows. So we have all these forms here, and different forms do different things. Let's say orders are created, and then we have users that get registered. For users, when they get registered or they do get activated or deactivated, they get a system notification by default. You don't need to create a workflow for that. Okay, for the item carriers and order type, we will just create a workflow right now. First, we're gonna do for the workflow, create workflow. Okay, so where I went was workflow, then create workflow, and over here I will choose from the forms. So I have carriers item order form. So first of all, we will do for order form, created or edited, or even for deleted. We can basically do that, but we will make sure that no one deletes the record. So that's why we won't have any workflow on that. Okay, and when to trigger workflow. Form successful form submission. So there are different over here field rules. Whenever a particular field is updated, load of the form, user input of a row, addition of a row. And reason it's showing addition of a row is because we have a sub form in the form. So I will show you, like let me show you. So if I go back here, and if I So I have a form here. So if I put the workflow on the addition of a row, it will basically trigger whenever new row is added, and it's a live triggering. Okay. So what that means is if I'm submitting a record, I can trigger a workflow based on the every addition of row. And you must be wondering how would we be controlling the numbering within within the rows. Like if the fucking row is updated, how to make sure that only that row is being updated, not the other ones. So for that, it's a bit of like a higher end topic, complex a bit topic, because that requires a more of a custom deluge that can use to control that, and we will be covering moving forward in other videos, not in this series, because this series, the purpose of this series is to be very specific and be very straightforward on how to build a base application on Zoho Creator. So people who want to understand the capabilities, they can easily understand that. So let's go back to the topic, order form, created edit, successful form submission, uh, notify admin, notify user, okay. Create workflow, add new action. So these are different actions that we can do. So I will go through. I've already gone through them, but just to give you idea. First of all, if there is any condition, might be just when the status equals shipped, initiated, packed, and stuff like that. Okay. So what I would do is always, and then I will say notification, because I'm basically setting up a notification. I can set up a success message as well. Okay, so I will, for now I can send an SMS, but for that I need to build up a I need to set up a Twilio integration or some SMS API integration. So which is not again part of this video series, but we can, if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. It's very basic. We say send email, and we will admin email address from, okay, and then to logged in, not logged in user ID, we would like to send it to admin email address and the login user ID as well. So what this mean is, basically we will be sending an email notification to the admin itself from the admin user ID. Okay, and we will be sending a email notification to the login user as well. Okay, we can add bcc, add reply to as well. And if we have any email id or required email address in the form itself, we can also use them here, but we don't have it, so we won't be able to use it here. And then we have basically different, because you see, uh, like we have logged in user email, admin email address, and these type of fields available, and these are by default by the system itself, right? And these are different system fields, and these are form fields. These are like, whenever we create a form, we have these fields: added time, added user id, modified time, modified user record status. So these fields come by default. Okay, so we will say hi, the hi. Then we will, what we're gonna do is, basically we will say, I will do one thing. I will just add a test record. Okay, okay. So it's having an issue. On a subplan. Okay, let me check one thing. For now, we'll just do this. ID. Okay. And later on, I will come back to fix this up. But yeah, so what it is doing is, basically by default every record has an ID, right? So when we basically open a record that have been saved in the system, we are giving in an ID, right? And but default system is also giving an ID to the that particular record. Now when we save that record, we get an ID out of the system, right? And that ID can be utilized, basically developing up the further finding that particular record straight away. Like, let's say if I put an ID at the end of the URL, I will basically be getting. Let me give you an example of that. So if I go to the order types, and because there is no form, uh, order type outbound, if I do submit it, and if I go all orders, and if I click here, and if I click here as well, so yeah. So this is basically the particular record that we just talked about, right? So if you see in the URL, this is by default very straightforward. But if I, what I would do is I will, if I take this, okay, and if I put it here, like this one, if I take this and if I put it here, okay, and one thing I would do here for you guys, okay. So we set up this notification. Okay, we will set up this notification because I was having some issue because I'm currently on a free plan. So that's why it's showing an issue in pointing out to specific record. But we will just save this notification for now. Okay, and we'll say done, and then we will move to another workflow for created and added. But this time we will be saying the items have been created or added. We'll say successful form submission. Again, go to notification, email notification from admin's email address to admin and logged in user I. Record added. Hi, new item is added. Kindly view the following record. Okay, and we will say save. We are done here. Then we will have another notification for the carriers created successful form submission. Notification. Send email. It's an admin login user ID. A new carrier is added. New carrier is added in the system currently with the following carrier list. So we will just go here, we will see what are the carriers, all carriers. We'll just pick this and we will get this printed here and we will say, okay, all good. We'll just save this. Okay. So now our notifications in terms of workflows are done. And over here, if you see in terms of navigation, when you see carriers item, forms with workflows and forms without workflows. So carriers items and order form do have workflows, and forms without workflows are order type and users. So once we have this, we are all set with the workflow notifications, which was the purpose of this series as well. And just one thing I would want to make sure is, so we will say that, okay, let's add an items. Okay. No, instead let's add an order type. This is a test order. Not order type. Not, so this is the success message that I received. Sorry. One thing I missed was basically I missed the order type. We didn't even create it for it. So it's my mistake. I'm sorry for it. Uh, Sorry for my. Um, and over here we will go to the order types, all order types. And we will basically go here, regulars and stuff. We will just save. Now what would happen is basically whenever I add a new order type, staging, okay, I should be receiving an email notification, which I have. So I got this notification which says a new order type is added to the system, kindly following the link to learn more. If I click on the link, I will basically go back to this particular section. So in this way, the user can basically set up the notifications for different form submissions. And similarly, as I said, like when you create a workflow, Okay, you have the option to do it on just create, edit or delete it only. Okay, so it's all up to you, and you can choose the form as well. And when it comes to email notification, you can basically, and for this specifically for the SMS notification, you have to have a number field, like a data type field in the system, to make sure that, to make it work basically. As I said that if I had an email address in the items or order request, order type, I can use that field to send out to that particular person. So if I go to the order types, and if I see the data fields here, I have email, I have name, I have phone, and I have address. So I have to have a phone field, I have to have an email field, I have to have an address field to send out the email notifications or SMS notification to those particular people or person. And similarly, not just this, if we have a lookup relation, and this is something important, I would believe, what I'm about to tell you. When we have a lookup relation to any external forms like the order type or carrier, so order type, all the numbers or emails associated with that order type record, which is being pushed up from here, it would be inbound, outbound, that would also be available for you to utilize in the following, like sending out an SMS or sending out an email. It doesn't need to be on this form. Even if it's on the order type or carrier, it can still be used, and it would be available for you to pick up from the drop down list where we see the admin email or the logged in user email. Okay, so this was it for this video. Now we will be basically going back to our the next to our going back to be basically discussing what was the agenda for this meeting, for this video, and what we have achieved. So basically the agenda for the video was to how this thing really works in terms of notifications, sending out SMS or email notifications. And once as we are done now, so we know that based on the data types, we can utilize those data types and put them into the workflows, and we can utilize them. So that's one thing. The other thing is, in the next video we will be discussing about specifically adding a front-end user access management system, which is pretty straightforward. So it wouldn't be a long video like this one, because we had to do it. So that's a pretty straightforward. Again, we will be dealing with workflows, and that's it. So stay tuned, stay connected. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, do subscribe. Feel free to reach out to me if you need any questions answered which haven't been discussed, or any other topics that you might be wondering, either they could be really helpful for you and you need an answer for them. So feel free to reach out. I will be more than happy to assist. Thank you.